Hey, what's going on everyone? So in this video, we're going to talk about whether you should buy a current generation graphics card now, which is the RTX 30 series or the Radeon 6000 series, or whether you should wait for a next generation card to arrive sometime in the second half of this year. Okay, so if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button, also to subscribe to the channel as well. So you may have noticed that I haven't posted videos in a couple of weeks now, and that is because I have moved back to Australia and I've been super busy. I haven't had much chance to do anything other than to organize stuff for the kids and also just organize my life in general. But I do have a few interesting hardware things that I have purchased in the last month or so. I purchased a 8-bit 2 controller that I want to do a video on, and I have some other hardware things that I want to do videos on, but it might just take a little bit longer for me to get those out than usual. But today I want to talk a little bit about whether you should buy a graphics card now versus whether you should buy one a little bit later on when those new graphics cards release. And that is because well, there was that Jay's 2 cents video that just came out, and a lot of people reacted to it. So I guess I'm also reacting to it here. But I want to give you my experience of having purchased an RTX 30 series card when those came out. And I just want to talk a little bit about how difficult it was. So I do agree a little bit with what Jay's 2 cents said, because I think it was a very difficult time to buy an RTX 30 series card. I think a lot of people forget just how bad it was, because at the time when the RTX 30 series cards came out, we had PlayStation 5 come out, we had the Xbox Series X come out, we had AMD CPUs and GPUs come out, and we also had Nvidia cards come out as well. And all of this hits, and it was a crazy time actually. I was reporting a lot on GPUs and CPUs at the time for this channel, and hopefully you guys have all come back and watching this channel for RTX 40 series. So it was roughly about the same time 2 years ago that I wanted to purchase a PC, and I was trying to decide whether I should buy the RTX 20 series in around about April, May of 2019, or whether I should wait 6 months and get a 30 series card. And in the end, I decided that, based on the rumors anyways, that the 3080 sounded really good, and I wanted to get a 3080. And so I decided to wait. However, I don't think, looking back in hindsight, that was such a good decision, because it was very difficult to get a 30 series card. Essentially, when all of these cards were released, they were all taken by scalpers and cook groups and that sort of thing. And I would reckon that it's probably going to happen this time around again if you want that RTX 40 series card. So if you want that performance bump, you're going to have to pay a premium for these things. So I think you're probably looking at, there have been rumors about the 4090 costing $2,000. So I think the 4080 could be around about $1,200 as well. And that is the MSRP. So you could be looking at even more after market. So I think if you're going to purchase the new cards, you're going to be paying a premium for that. So there's good reason to get a 30 series card, a new one as well. You don't even have to get a second-hand one. And it seems like, at least in Australia anyway, when I've been looking at the prices, that the 30 series cards are starting to hit around MSRP and even just a little bit lower. And when I purchased my PC 2 years ago now, back in January 2020, I couldn't actually get a card for about 3 or 4 months. And I couldn't get that 5900X either. I ended up with a 10900K. So it was very difficult to get anything at the time. And you know, when you're building a PC, a lot of it comes down to getting the right configuration right, getting the right parts right. Like, you want to get a CPU that matches with a GPU. So right now is a good time because everything is available. And it's going to be easy for you to just go and pick out all the parts that you want, pick out whatever colors you want, whether you want a white case or a black case. You might even get a white GPU to match with your white case. So there are a lot of reasons, good reasons why you can get stuff now, why you should get it now, because everything is available. So I do want to touch on some rumors about the 40 series specs and what those cards and how they might actually perform. So let's take a look at this tweet here from Copite7 Kimmy. This came out on 23rd of June, and he's been a notable source of rumors, a good source of rumors for Nvidia. And he says that the RTX 4090 is going to have 16,000 FP32 CUDA cores. It's going to have 24 gigabytes of GDDR6X RAM. The RTX 4080 is going to be 10,240 FP32. Now, I think the 3080 was about 8,500 or 8,700, something like that. So I do think this is a small increase here, but we're going to get an increase in the clock speeds, which will make this card run faster, a lot faster than the 3080. Now, the RTX 4070 is going to have 7,168 FP32, and it's going to have 10 gigabytes of GDDR6. So just a small bump up in the amount of RAM there, and a small bump up in the amount of CUDA cores. But the clock speed is going to make that go a little bit faster. And in the tweet directly under there, I've also noted that I'm thinking that these are going to be around about 2.5 gigahertz clock speeds. And that is because on Samsung, they were running on 1.7 gigahertz or 1700 megahertz. And I think if they go back to TSMC, it's going to be around 2500 megahertz. That's a guess. That's complete speculation. I don't know what clock speeds they're going to run at, and that could be decided pretty close to when they actually release. But we're getting close to the release. So I think they're going to do the same cycle again, and they're going to have their announcement in late August, early September, and then they'll release the cards. Maybe they'll hold off on it if they can't sell these 30 series cards, as people have suggested. Maybe it's going to, the 4090 is going to come out in September, and then the 4080 is going to come out in October. But it will be around sometime at the end of the year anyway. But if you have a look at that tweet that I've got, I do think that the 3090 to the 4090 is going to have a 2 times performance increase. So if you are a performance user and you don't really care about how much power you use, because the 4090 has been reported to use a lot of power, maybe about 450 to 500 watts versus the 3090, which is about 350 watts, then the 4090 card is for you, because it seems like you're going to get a huge performance increase with that 4090. Now with the 3080 to 4080, that seems like it's only going to have 1.4x or 40% performance increase, and that is a bit down on previous generations. So the 2080 to 3080 was about 63% performance improvements. So I think in terms of performance improvement over last gen, you're not going to get that much. But if you've been waiting since the 20 series card to get the 4080, I think there'll be enough performance improvement there if you skip the generation. And then the 3070 to 4070, you get 50% performance improvement, which is roughly what you had last generation, going from the 20 series to the 30 series. And I think you're going to see a price increase. I think you're going to get 4070 for like about $699, up from $599. I think the 4080, you're going to get another $100 increase as well. So I think you're going to see $799 as the base MSRP. And of course, in the aftermarket on eBay, it's going to be really expensive as well. You could add a couple of $100 there. So that 4080, you're looking at like $1,000 at least. I wouldn't be surprised if Nvidia just suddenly decided to hell with all of this, because the 4090 is going to be $2,000. I'm just going to make that 4080 like $1,000 or $1,200. Especially for those AIB cards as well, like the Asus Strix might be like an extra $200 on top of the base card. Okay, that is my little preview on the RTX 40 series cards. Whether you should buy one now or whether you should wait a little bit, I think you should purchase one around about this time before the RTX 40 series cards out, knowing that it's possible that there'll be a ton of 30 series cards. But if you've been waiting a long time to get a 30 series card, I don't think this is a bad time. Based on my experience last time, with the RTX 20 series cards and that being really available, and then it was such a struggle to get a RTX 30 card at the start of the generation. Okay, if you like this video, make sure to hit that like button and also to subscribe to this channel for more videos like this. And I'll see you guys in the next one.